Do I have any questions out there? All right. Oh, there's one right there. I'll give you.
How much?
How much? Great question. So let's talk about how we're going to monetize this. Our first deliverable is this product that sits in your home or your office. And we believe that the person who should buy this first is the telco, and then give that to the customer. Because if we think about the customer, your relationship with the telco is a contractual relationship. You sign up and you pay him $50, $80, $90 a month. And what's your expectation? Your expectation is to get quality performance. That's the contract. Is I sign up. If the contract was I sign up and get sketchy service, then that's not a very good contract. So what's in fact happening is the telcos are failing at their contract. They're failing at giving you that good quality service. So the answer should be is that the telco should be the ones that we sell this to, and then they call you up or you call them up, because by the way, they know you have bad service. They know where it is. Their network engineers know exactly where their pockets of poor reception is. It's not a question of them waiting to get a call. They know where it is. So we submit. In fact, our entire focus has been network engineers, network engineers. We don't talk to business development. In fact, if you talk with guys in this industry that are selling a competing product, they all talk with business development. And you go down to AT&T store and you go in there and you can find a femto cell for $245. You can find some sort of nextivity for $600. We want none of that. This is an equipment. This is a piece of equipment that goes into their network. This is an extension of their network. That's why I said earlier, this is a device that the network operators can turn on, turn off. They can monitor. It's like your set-top box in your home for your internet. It's not your set-top box, but you plug it in, you turn it on, and you have service. This is not your device. This is the telco's device. And we're going to sell millions of devices to the telcos, who in turn will give them to their customers. Why? Because if you're dissatisfied, you're going to leave that network. We call that churn. Churn is a big deal. Churn is a huge deal in telco right now because we have saturation. My earlier slide showed 6.8 billion subscribers. You know how many people are on the planet? 7 billion. So that means we have saturation. So no longer is it growth. It's now about making sure we retain that subscriber base. And the churn I talked about earlier, that 3%, is because of poor signal quality. So if you connect the dots, if I can reduce churn, a telco, his ROI is in reducing churn. He doesn't need any more ROI than just reducing churn. So that's our first, 200 million devices is sold through the telcos. Now we have other devices, B2C and so on and so forth, but the first is simply selling it to the telcos for $200. We make it for $50, and then they give it to their customers for free.
250, that's all I need.
200, and then we make it for 50. So that's, sorry for the long answer, but sorry. But
Does this device will work in the cars and other?
Great question. So this device is designed for telcos. This device is designed in a fixed location, your home, your office. And again, we think this market is a huge market. We think this market is 200 million devices across the network to take care of that 3% churn. But beyond that, we have a device that we will be releasing in Q1 of next year, which is an auto device. And this device sits in your car, takes care of any cellular reception issues in the cabin of your vehicle. And this is a different model. This is now direct to consumer. And we'll be selling this directly to the consumer, same price point. But the idea is different. The contract is not so defined in a mobile environment. Mobile environment, you're going to be in challenge areas that you know you're going to be in challenge areas, and you don't mind paying that additional price to have that additional service. So auto product, look for that June Q1 in 2015. Yes, sir.
I came in late to your presentation, but what is the range of that device?
4,000 square feet. So plug it in, and you have 4,000 square feet footprint. We have a system gain of 70 dB, which allows us to get that 4,000 square feet. We can up that and get a little bit larger, but again, this is a consumer-driven device. This is not really for a commercial application. We can't compete with a repeater that can give you, or a DAS system, or even the small cell that would give you a 30,000 square feet footprint. But again, those solutions cost thousands of dollars. A repeater costs around $12,000 to install. Again, we're $200. So we're after that market that exists where the existing technology can't get to. It's not a question of the telco's not trying to solve the problem. It's an economic issue. They can't afford to put a $10,000 repeater to save a guy that's leaving that's paying $70 a month. But for 200, they can't. And that's really the opportunity, and that's what's really cool about this opportunity is that there's a pocket out there that is not being addressed in the marketplace. It's really, it's just as cool as it gets in terms of a business model. It's finding something that somebody needs and doing it at an affordable price. That's the opportunity.
There's no monthly recurring revenue model, just a one-time?
There is. There absolutely is. So what we sell to the telcos, again, I go back, we talk about our network access control remotely, that they can now turn this on, turn it off, and it's over their live network. And we have a 3G module that allows us to upgrade this solution through software over the network. So we can simply push a button over the network and upgrade this device in any software that we would provide in the future. So that's a maintenance fee. So most of your telcos like to have devices that they can actually pay a monthly fee so that it's updated properly. So yes, there is a monthly revenue model here that we will, on top of the initial sales price, enter into maintenance contracts with the telcos. Any other questions? Stefan.
You previously mentioned everything is about building out the infrastructure.
Yes.
To be prepared for markets, to serve the markets. So in a certain way locally, you're providing your services locally, because I guess it's relationship based that you, whatever it is, yeah. I'm just questioning behind how much is there the need, how much is there the need, as you described it, really to be locally in those markets rather compared to have a centralized unit. Because if you, on the one hand, you're convincing the telcos of the technology, it takes the technology into the labs, coming up with the right results in order to prove those.
Yeah, we're
to source them in and provide them back to their clients or customers.
Yeah, we're clear. There's no doubt in our mind that we believe the solution is to set up these local companies and these subsidiaries and hire top-level management that can locally penetrate the marketplace. It's arrogant for us to believe that we can sit in San Diego and dictate how markets are going to be perceived and penetrated in India, China, Latin America. Can't happen, won't happen. We have to hire top telco guys in Latin America to run the Latin America division. We have to hire guys in India to run the Indian operation. And what's really cool about this is that we have so much deep dive knowledge in the Indian marketplace, in the LATAM marketplace, in the African marketplace, that nobody else has. The guys in Latin America, they do not have the knowledge base that they have in India. The guys in India do not have the knowledge base of Latin America. What's really cool is that we have that knowledge base. We're going to be one of the smartest telcos in the marketplace.
It's a global product, so it's no differentiation between countries, how you're going to address or how different the product is taking everything into consideration.
There's nuances, and what's really interesting is that at first blush, you say 835 million subscribers in India as an example, use India as an example. And you say, okay, well then that's the same model that we'd sell to in Latin America, because Latin America has 675 million subscribers. So okay, well then the number's 3%, well how to get there? So you go into the Latin American marketplace, you're selling to a much different animal than you are in India. In India, you have a vast majority with very low ARPU. So your average revenue per user is $1.50, $2. I can't justify selling a device for $200 to a $1.50 ARPU guy. But interestingly enough, there is a very large segment of the marketplace that has a higher ARPU, and that's about 55 million people. So our target actually is 55 million. So when you talk to the telcos, our first idea is, oh my gosh, how are we going to sell something into a $1.50 ARPU? And they say, well, don't worry about it, because we have pockets that have very, very high ARPU that have very, very poor signal. So the Indian nuance is completely different than it is in Latin America. While it's still the same 3% at the 30,000 foot level, it looks the same. But in reality, it's much different. I can't know that in San Diego. I have to have local guys engaging with local telco, selling local telco, And that's how we're going to be successful, is selling. This is really, it's really think locally, act globally. This is really a series of 10 little companies that we're going to be setting up around the world, being staffed by some really cool people. And you'll see who we're hiring, and we'll be announcing this. These guys are titans. These guys are major league guys that are coming to run these subsidiaries. And we'll be very happy to share that with you as we bring them on over the next 60, 90 days. Yes, sir.
Talk a little bit about the cap structure of the company. Obviously, it's going to change dramatically with these 10.
It won't. This is the great thing about it. Right now, 178 million out, fully diluted, 240. But what's really neat about our strategy is these 10 subs, we're going to finance them independently. So we're going to sell 10% of LATAM. We're going to sell 10% of Africa. We're going to sell 10% of India. We're going to raise money in those local subs from local investors. And we are engaging an investment banking firm to do that. We'll be announcing that in the next 10 days. And you'll all see that, oh my goodness, this is very exciting on who we're engaging to raise money in these subsidiaries. So we're actually going to sell, my goal is to stop dilution in the parent, not to sell any more stock in parent, and raise it all through the subsidiaries.
Can you talk about your warrants also?
Yeah, we have 60 million warrants that are part of that cap table. We are actually in the process of filing an S1. You'll see there on the cap table the number of warrants. And we're looking to have those be qualified under an S1 in the next few months. We believe that the price of the stock will respond by the end of the year so that warrant becomes in the money, which will allow them to take that warrant down, which is another $15 million of financing. So yeah, so our strategy going forward is to stop dilution and to really raise money in these subsidiaries. Michael, sorry.
How many of these do you have out now?
This is our first introduction to the commercial market will be to our LATAM partner in the next 2 weeks for testing. So these are not being deployed yet. This is a deployment in this quarter and in the next quarter.
Okay, so a year from now, would you expect to have millions of these out?
Yeah, 12 months from now, I think it's going to take that amount of time to get to the million numbers. I think before that it's going to be in the thousands and tens and 20s and 30s. We believe that we can sell 20 million devices in each of our 10 regions over the next 2 to 3 years. So that's 200 million devices over the next 2 to 3 years in basically selling 20 million in each of the 10 subs.
How is the Mexico market?
Fantastic. The Mexico market is, you know, when I say fantastic, it's fantastic to our churn, right? People say, well, we have good signal here. We have good signal. But the reality of it is every carrier has 3% churn. Every one, across the board. AT&T, Verizon, Mexico, same situation. So we do have these pockets of areas that need this technology. Now, we're not saying that this is going to be in every home. We're not saying that yet, anyway. But we're saying it at 200 million devices. But 200 million devices, you're looking at a run rate of $40 billion top line. So we don't need to be in every home to be very, very successful in this business. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.